2, 1. We're going to talk about console launches today, and hopefully, uh, the 13 pages of notes I took and painstakingly verified odd the validity of for these launched titles goes to good use.
You know, you put way too much work into this podcast that earns us literally nothing.
True. But yeah, so
Thank you.
we actually were gonna do this originally as like all one thing, but then we realized there's too much to talk about. So the loser of the poll gets special treatment, and it's gonna have 2 episodes dedicated to it. And we're gonna start with part 1 is gonna be all of the dedicated home consoles that we're gonna talk about. It is not all of them, but it is all the notable ones that we could, think about talking about. And we're going to go backwards. So we're going to start from the newest ones, which in this case are the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, and work our way back. The Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch, we put those with the part 2 batch, which is all of the portable and handheld stuff we're going to talk about. That's for the next episode. So, yeah, we'll talk about that then. Uh, so yeah, are you guys ready to jump in? Just jump in.
I guess.
So, first system that we're going to talk about the console launch for is the PlayStation 5, because that was released a little bit after the other one. Came out on November 12th, 2020, and there was 2 SKUs originally. You had the regular $499 model, and then there was also a digital-only model for $399. Did not last very long for that one. Just felt like, making sure that was known. Uh, Landon actually tallied up all of these launch titles. We're not going to go through the launch titles title by title, by the way. I have linked these guys to the Google Doc that I am using, and we will point out notable releases that we think are important to mention out of those, because I am not going to sit here and rattle off every launch title. That would be boring and really exhausting. Okay? Just so that's established? Cool. Thank you for your understanding.
Uh,
Yeah.
Death taxes every video game console having a Just Dance game
Yep.
with Just Dance 2021.
This is going to be a trend, but Just Dance, yeah, it's on pretty much all the consoles that a Just Dance existed for at the time. And whatever the most recent one was, that's what happens. Uh, Funny enough, though, this first one here, um, it's going to be a trend going back. There's not too many sports games this time. We got NBA 2K21 that came out for launch, but like a lot of the systems we're going to talk about today had quite a few sports games released. So yeah, pretty fun stuff there. But the PS5, as we all know, so we're going to talk. I want us to talk about 3 things primarily. I don't know why I held up 2 fingers. 3 things. The launch lineup, obviously. The circumstances of the launch are kind of important. Like, like what happened around the time when it launched. Like, what were the factors of whether it was a successful launch or a bad launch, because that's kind of important. And I forgot the third thing I was going to say. I had the third thing off in my head, but yeah. So the launch lineup for the PS5.
Did you mention that this is only the US launches for these
Yes,
consoles?
this is only for North America, specifically US, but the vast majority of these also covers North America as a whole. So that is going to be where we're going to be focusing on. We're not going to be focusing on anything that was like in other regions, because some of these systems, they came out in other regions first. Some of these came out in other regions after. Not gonna worry about it. Not gonna worry about it. But yeah, the PS5 came out during the COVID era, so that was a very weird time. The PS5 was getting scalped to high hell. Man, I do not miss seeing scalpers selling $1,000 PlayStation 5s on marketplaces online anymore.
It was a very scalped console.
It was a highly
Yeah.
scalped console.
Extremely so.
This and the Xbox were both highly scalped for like a while too.
I
But
think
yeah.
it's funny that and I guess I could bring this up when we talk about the Xbox, but I think it's funny that the Xbox Series launched 2 days before the PS5, and it truly did not matter at all. Like, Sony was not worried about Microsoft's console coming out first. The PS5 was going to win that fight every time.
I'm gonna be honest with you now, as somebody that I'm sure that Landon can tell you his own story, but as someone that worked the launch of both of those systems, the Xbox Series launch barely even felt like a new hardware was launching at my work. We sold some, but honestly, the not only did we not get too many in to sell, we didn't get many people asking whether we had any. Like, we had some, obviously, but like there wasn't that many people asking, "Do you guys have Xbox?" In
I
you didn't care.
I Okay, you know what? I'm not going to talk about the Xbox that much because we'll get to it when we
Yeah.
talk about Xbox.
But yeah,
But
PS5, everyone.
yeah, everyone was buying this fucking thing when it came out. And honestly, I wasn't really sure why, because there's nothing here that's like a must-have game and must-play game. Like, the two biggest games in this launch lineup are Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Demon Souls
Yeah.
for PS5.
One of which was available on PS4, and the
Yep.
other one was a remake of a PS3 game.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other like okay notable mentions. Like, you have Godfall was a bigger one that came out, but it wasn't like anything to move consoles really.
And it's dead.
Yeah, and it's
Landon,
dead now.
Landon, you worked the PS5 launch. What were like the biggest games when it came out?
Yeah.
Definitely Demon Souls and Spider-Man.
Yep.
Those two were like definitely the hugest ones. I remember
There's a few
Assassin's
people,
Creed Valhalla
Valhalla,
doing
yeah.
okay.
There was a couple people
Um,
that bought it, Valhalla alongside theirs.
Yeah, those, and then probably Watch Dogs. Honestly,
A couple
I-
people,
a
yeah.
little bit of
I
a
remember.
little bit of Borderlands 3.
I honestly forgot that Watch Dogs game even existed.
It
Is
came
that
out.
a sequel to the original?
It is.
Or is it a
the
remake?
third game in
Third
the Watch
game?
Dogs.
There are
series.
3 Watch Dogs games?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was Watch Dogs 1, 2, and Legion.
That just shows how much Watch Dogs was on my radar, period.
See, and the reason why you don't even know Watch Dogs Legion is a thing is because it's set in the UK. It's in Great
Oh,
Britain.
that makes sense. That makes
And
sense.
so, yeah.
And Watch Dogs
Just-
Legion, like quite a few games here that the PS5 came out with. As Landon mentioned with Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, a lot of these were cross-platform. Like, a lot of these were coming out
Yeah.
day and date with a PS4 version. So like, unless you were really enthusiastic to get the PS5 and maybe
Yeah.
Demon Souls, like, you weren't
Like-
there wasn't new games specifically for PS5 to get.
Yeah. Like, everything here was either already out on PS4 or launched simultaneously on PS4.
Now,
Cold
obviously,
War wasn't the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was also, I remember, a pretty decent seller at launch, mostly because it was not a modern like a Call of Duty shooter. It
Yeah.
was like more of a like what's Cold War era. So,
Yeah.
but it's not like
But
the modern
fuck
modern era.
everything we just said, because this console has bug snacks, and that's truly all that matters at the end of the day.
I did want to mention, notably,
I've never played bug snacks.
the PS5 does, and this is still true to this day, does have a game pre-installed in Astro's Playroom, which is a really cute, fun game. If you're into like a lot of PlayStation franchises, it has a lot of like fun references to all of that, and it's like it's it's a better pack and title than like 90% of the pack and titles that we could talk about.
That's
So,
fair.
Yeah.
yeah,
I will
PS5.
my last comment on the PS5 launch lineup. I mean, the pricing is fine-ish. What it is, it's $500 for a PS5 is in COVID money is whatever.
Yeah.
The one title in all of this that like I really give a shit about and have played is The Pathless, which is a game by the company that made Abzu, which is a shoot off of that game company who made Journey.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you like Journey, you will like The Pathless. It has a little bit more gameplay. It's a little bit more like action Zelda-y in terms of setup, but out of all these games, that's the only one I like today give a huge shit about.
There is at least one game
Yep.
in this pile of games.
This nothing burger of a launch lineup.
I will say the launch lineup, when you like get rid of a lot of the fluff, there is at least a launch lineup. It's nothing exciting, but we're gonna get to some like stinker ass launch lineups later on. So the PS5 is passable. And
Let's
let's move on. We got the Xbox Series X and S, which Jack alluded to earlier with a bunch of stuff. There's November 10th, 2020, 2 days earlier. Came out. We had two SKUs. There was the Series X. Obviously, that's like the main model that they're selling for $499, and $299 for the Series S, which is a digital-only version of that, and with a little bit of lower-end specs. It's not quite as powerful as the Series X, so that's an interesting bit. It has quite a bit of a launch lineup for games, about the same amount as the PS5, and quite a bit of overlap too. There's quite a lot of these games were also launched on the PS5. Not gonna talk about them all, but just to know, there's a lot of crossover between these two systems. Jack, you were gonna say something.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
This is the single one of I'm not gonna say the most unmemorable console of all time, but it's up there. This is like top 5 for completely nothing unmemorable. I constantly forget that it exists video game console. Every once in a while, I catch myself thinking that the Xbox One is still the modern Xbox, because the Series X/S is the dumbest fucking console name of all time. Like, people think Wii U is bad, but this is really bad. And this launch lineup is also a complete nothing burger.
Yeah.
At least Nintendo differentiated the media between the Wii U and the Wii. A lot of times, you know, it's this either the same disc, or like people struggle to figure out that there is two different discs.
I actually want to mention that. So the Xbox Series had an interesting, weird launch period. You don't really see it anymore because reasons. But when the Xbox Series X and S came out, a lot of the games coming out were like, they were cross-platform, but they weren't just cross-platform in the sense that like Sony had like the PlayStation, there'd be like a PS4 version, a PS5 version. No, there would be releases where on the Series X or Xbox One, or Series S, sorry, and Xbox One, you could just buy the disc and it would play on either one. And then there were some that only played on Series X. And then there was some that were still just Xbox One games, but you could play them on the Xbox Series. It's a whole fucking thing, dude.
It's so dumb. It's
one
so
of these
dumb.
games, I can tell you for sure, was a cross-platform title that had 2 separate discs, one specific for the Series X and one for the Xbox One family of systems. Is Warhammer Chaos Bane.
So that just adds to the confusion.
Yeah, so like we had 2 separate SKU discs, and if you bought the Series X one, you could not play it, and people get pissed, and I'd go, well, 1, learn to read. 2, fuck Microsoft.
Yeah, fair point.
True, fuck Microsoft.
And it does not help that Microsoft actually packaged the games specifically to be as similar looking as possible. Like
they would have a bar. Originally, it was a bar at top that just said like Xbox One or Xbox Series X
Yep.
or like both. And it was nonsense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The
the
launch
stuff
lineup.
the stuff that differentiates this from the PlayStation 5, I actually find way more interesting. Tetris Effect Connected, Yakuza Like a Dragon both came out as launch titles for this, and Yakuza was an exclusive, like a timed
Yeah, it
exclusive
didn't
for this
come out
system.
till like 2 years later on the PS5.
Something like that. It was like there was an amount of time before it like jumped ship, at least a year, I think. And like those alone, you have double the amount of games I was interested from a launch lineup.
And
Uh,
yet,
And yet
it's still a Microsoft console.
it's
And
Microsoft, so
although
oh well.
both of these systems do have upgrade paths, like all three of the major consoles now have like ways to upgrade certain games to a better version now, but the
Or
Xbox
don't.
Series X or don't, but the Xbox Series X actually started out right out of the gate with three big releases that were purely just upgrades. They weren't even like they weren't even like you had Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, and Gears Tactics, which were all upgrades of the previous generation games. So kind of interesting that they were already doing that. Again, it just adds more to the confusion of like what our launch title, how the launch titles worked in this in this weird mess of a system. But
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Honestly, I mean, out of those three titles, only one of those is like worth talking about.
Yeah,
That's Forza.
yeah,
But there's so many Forza games that we're not going to.
right.
Oh wait, I also forgot. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition.
Yeah,
Was
for
that
some
on the
reason,
PS5?
no.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no,
Yeah, it was.
no,
Oh no, no, it
Yeah,
was.
it was.
Okay, no, that's right. It was.
They both did come out. I forgot about this game. I have it listed here, but I forgot that it came out because for some reason my store didn't carry it. I guess like nobody cared enough to want it. But
How how much of an impact did the launch for the series have for you guys? Like, I know, Cloud, you said like barely anyone cared, but like, did anyone buy this, Landon?
Oh, well, yes. Lots of people did, only because I worked at a dedicated video
yeah,
game
I mean,
store,
yeah. Like, some
and
people
so
are gonna buy it, but like compared to
we
other
had
launches,
we well, it's we because of the pre-order system, like it definitely like was like the launch was fairly busy because we had plenty of people who were already like had already prepaid and wanted to come in for it. Uh I definitely remember the periods after the initial launch, like more people definitely asked about PS5 systems.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. In like any of the restocks and stuff that happened for the initial, it was pretty even, but let's just nature of the beast when like you have like pre-orders open and work at a dedicated store versus like working at like just a superstore that offers lots of different items and not just a boutique.
yeah.
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 So we're gonna go back a generation. We're gonna go back to the 8th generation of consoles, and the more recent of the two, released on November 22nd, 2013, is everyone's favorite launch mockery, the Xbox One. The Xbox One came out at a launch price of $499, and you had to get it with the Kinect. No, you can't negotiate with this. It's coming with Kinect, and you will spend $500 on it. It came with about 20 some odd games. Uh, and let's just get it out of the way. Everybody's talked about it. Leading up to this system's launch was a disaster. Unlike the Series X/S, where it was just kind of boring and like who cares, and like it came out and people bought it if they wanted it. This was like literally they were making decisions that were actively mocked online, offline, just and eventually they turned everything around. But the launch lineup here does not do enough, in my opinion, to really make up for all of that. There's some games here, but like I mean, you have like I mean, I don't personally have stock in them, but I've heard the Killer Instinct title that came out was really good by fans of the series. You have Rise Son of Rome, I've heard pretty good things about. Uh so there's Dead Rising 3, so like there's Forza Motorsport 5, so like there's stuff, but like
Significantly
Forza.
more than what its successor would have. But
weirdly enough, yeah.
Forza doing I feel like the heavy lifting
yeah, definitely.
100%. That was the launch title that differentiates this from the PS4 because Call of Duty Ghosts is on both
Both.
systems.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big launch
Call of
title,
Duty
but it was on
or
both.
not Call of Duty. Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed 4
Four.
Black Flag. While those like are like the latter two, not necessarily Ghosts, but like Assassin's Creed and Battlefield 4 are both like well received titles for their series. Yeah, Forza's doing most of the heavy lifting. Like Rise Son of Rome, I heard like at launch people were like super hyping it up, but then when you play the game, it's like okay.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't live up to the hype, but it's fine.
Yeah. And then when you have two basketball games, man.
Yeah. And because for some reason, EA thought, hey, let's give our basketball game one more try. NBA Live 14 was the first game that they released in the NBA Live series since 2009, and there's a reason why we don't see NBA Live anymore.
Yeah, they killed it shortly after that. I think it was lasted for another 2 years. I think Live 16 was the last one, if I remember correctly. But like the Live series took a nosedive when they brought it back.
So
It used to be NBA Live was the shit.
Yeah.
And then it flip-flopped to where 2K like did pretty good. And now like everything's poopy garbage, but
yeah. I had one of the NBA Live games on GameCube back in the day, and it was like a fucking solid basketball game. But then they just went downhill super fast, and then 2K started taking off. So
yeah. Any more thoughts on the Xbox One launch?
it's got Zoo Tycoon.
Yeah, Zoo Tycoon.
Thank you for specifying that Madden 25 is the 25th anniversary game, because I forgot about that.
So yeah,
that there isn't a Madden 14. It goes 13, 25, 15.
Yes.
And then it wraps back around again to Madden 25 again.
The Madden 25 in 2024
again.
So yeah, that was a thing.
They didn't
that
think
happened.
that through.
They did not.
No.
So that was just a cool thing. Any other thoughts on the Xbox One launch, Landon?
I mean, they should have thought about like not having a Connect bundle.
Yeah, like that. They were really pushing for the Connect though at the time. That was the whole fucking deal.
There's no Connect like
bundle
software like that is like a seller. Like there's no reason besides taking your photo for NBA. Like there's no there's Zumba.
Yeah, Zumba Fitness World Party and like Fighter Within are like the two games that have like Connect support that you would think, oh, I'll buy this to use my Connect. But like they're not, like you said, they're not sellers, and they didn't bother to pack in a game that like would make you want to use the Connect. So like it sucks that, like you said, Jack, like yes, they were really going hard on the Connect. But as Landon said, they really should have thought about having an option to not. The Xbox One started doing better when they gave you the option without it. So like
it really did.
Anyway,
what were they thinking?
What were they thinking? We're gonna move on to the system released the week before, and the clear winner between these two, the PlayStation 4, which came out on November 15th, 2013 at a launch price of $399.
Obvious winner, because the PS4 has knack.
Yes, the PS4 has about the same amount of games. Landon tallied up 22 for Xbox One, 24 for PlayStation 4. I'm not going to lie, looking at the launch lineup for the PS4, you would think that this thing would not do that well. But it did get better, so that
It
there's that.
it has flour, I guess. Like there's not a whole lot here. Like I did not get a PS4 until the year after it launched. Like honestly, I constantly forget that the PS4 and Xbox One launched in 2013 and not 2014 just because that was the year I got one. But there really was not a whole lot here
The
to
sad
start.
part, the sad part is that quite a lot of people I know bought PS4 in order to play Call of Duty Ghosts on PS4 because at the time, I don't know if you guys remember this, there was a big stink over the fact that the people learned that the performance of Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox One was going to be worse than the PS4 version. Don't know why the game ended up like that because it only ran at like 720 on Xbox One and it ran at 900p on PS4. So people made a big deal about like the resolution difference because remember this was a time when like people really made that a big deal. Like it's it's still a big deal,
Now
but not as much as it was then because of that
now
one
everything
game.
is 4K and it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
Exactly. But like at the time, like the power difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One, even though it wasn't a lot, it was enough where like some games were just doing better on PS4 and like people were like, "Oh." So like it just became that kind of the just default system because Xbox One was doing Xbox bullshit and PS4 was like, "Oh, we're also a more powerful console most of the time." But I mean, it has knack and it has Killzone Shadowfall, I
Knack,
guess.
baby.
Did you have anything to add about the PS4, Landon?
So Sound Shapes was one of the launch titles, and I really like that game, but that game also had come out like a year prior on PS3 and Vita. So if you just had the PS3 Vita version, you got it. So, but like that's probably my favorite game that's on this launch lineup. Resogun is a fun, if I remember right, shmup. I think I
Yeah,
played that on Plus. That one's pretty good, but like overall, and then Jack mentioned Flower. Like overall, a lot of it's is the same. Madden, NBA 2K14, Lego Marvel Superheroes.
And Angry Birds Star Wars, baby. Let's
yep.
go.
Yeah. So like the
Battlefield
three
4.
big ones again, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield, Call of Duty Ghosts, like
Yeah.
Both
shared
systems.
between them. So really the big differentiator is Killzone and Knack. When
See,
Killzone's okay and Knack's Knack.
Actively, like, yeah, and that actively,
It's a meme now, but
yeah.
it
yeah.
was not
It
super
was
well
always a
received.
meme, honestly.
I do
Yeah.
want to make a special mention to the Playroom, which came out at launch, which is it's kind of it's supposed to be a mini game collection for the PlayStation camera because at the time they were selling a PlayStation camera to go with your PlayStation 4, so you could like do like PlayStation Move type shit
You could
with
do
that. Uh,
connect shit.
And the funny thing that I wanted to mention is that the Playroom at one point was being used for lewd adult shit.
Like all things.
Yeah, it
Like
was
all
it was
things.
it was, it was very interesting situation there. So I just wanted to bring that up.
It's a very interesting situation.
Uh, yeah, PlayStation
Don't worry
4.
about it.
It won by doing absolutely nothing.
It truly did. This was the Luigi of this generation.
But we're gonna go back a year for the
Speaking
previous
of the
launch.
Yoshi of this generation,
We got Wii U released on November 18th, 2012, and it had two SKUs. You had a $299 basic bundle, which was 8 gigabytes of storage, and then you had the $349 premium bundle, which had 32 gigabytes of storage, and also I believe that was the one also bundled with
Nintendo Land,
Nintendo Land.
baby.
So
Let's
Nintendo Land, baby.
go. And also like an
Unironically,
extra holder for your fucking thing.
yeah.
unironically, so far Nintendo Land is the best launch game that we have run into.
By
I'm
the
not
way,
even kidding.
By the way, the Wii U launched with 34 games. Thank you, Land, for counting. That's a lot.
And I'm not gonna lie. This is so far
It's
my favorite launch lineup.
Yeah, it is actually. It's okay. I didn't get a Wii U when it came out. I got my Wii U a year later, and then I got my PS4 a year later after it launched as well. But like, this isn't a terrible launch lineup, all things considered. Like, yeah, a lot of this stuff were on systems that already they were on previously released systems. Like a lot of these games are
PS3,
ports of
360.
PS3 and 360 games. You have like Sonic and All Stars Racing. Actually, Sonic and All Stars Racing Transform is a new game.
That was launched on Wii U first in North America because it did come out in a few other territories first on other systems. But for us,
And you
we
know
got
what?
we got it on Wii U first and then on other consoles.
And you know what? It's a great fucking game.
It
But
is.
like shit like Batman Arkham City and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and fucking
Darksiders 2.
Mass Effect 3 and yeah, Darksiders 2. It's like all of this was on PS3 and 360 already. So it's like
Ninja Gaiden 3 was another one.
Yep.
The big non-pack-in title for this launch lineup was New Super Mario Brothers U.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty much the game everyone was playing when it came out.
It was so big that a later bundle for Wii U that would replace the current bundles that it came out with, literally just packed it in alongside Nintendo Land. Like you still got Nintendo Land, but then they would also just give you New Super Mario Brothers U as well. Like that's how much they were just here you go. That's the bundle that I got.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So outside of Mario Bros. U and Nintendo Land, which like those two alone, like really carry this very much compared to the last 4 consoles we talked about. There's a lot of stuff on here that I remember buying like right away. Chasing Aurora, Little Inferno, Mighty Switch Force, Hyperdrive Edition.
Fuck yeah.
Were all like those were all games I bought like pretty close to launch. Nano Assault Neo was another one. I bought Scribblenauts Unlimited pretty shortly after and played through that. So like this is a pretty like this is
It's
a
not
like
it's
Now-
not a terrible launch lineup, honestly.
To talk
there's
about
some
the
fluff, but
to talk
yeah.
about the circumstances of the Wii U launch, the Wii U launch was, when you put the launch titles aside, not great because they were really bad at communicating this thing as an actual successor. There were so many people who truly believed this was just an add-on for the Wii.
And we have a whole Wii U episode.
Yep.
Go ahead.
We can talk
Pretend like you're gonna go scroll through our catalog of episodes and find it and
you can
bookmark
listen
it for
to
later.
us talk about the Wii U more on that episode, but it was not a good launch for them. There's a reason why its sales were really bad, but the initial launch lineup at least was pretty promising. Like I will say, objectively speaking, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of fluff, but there's enough here that it's like this is an exciting launch lineup taken out of context of like what the circumstances were.
There's a little something for everyone.
Yeah. And there was also
Like
Zombie U.
Warriors Orochi 3.
Yeah.
Like you could tell Nintendo was trying to like rebrand to like,
we want the third parties to come back with hardcore games for hardcore gamers.
yeah, we want while we are a family oriented company and will continue to be, we are excited to hopefully have more third party support that is like more generated towards the core gamer like group, using large air quotes on that for our audio listeners, because you know what's a core gamer.
That's up to you to decide.
Up to me to decide?
No, just the audience, the listener. Like whatever
Oh.
you feel in your heart of hearts.
So me, who's editing this podcast episode, it's up to him to decide?
I mean, you could decide for yourself, but you're not going to decide for the other listeners. Up to each
'cause
individual listener.
the way you meant it,
I
like
did.
it seemed like I got to decide.
No, not you. Just whoever's listening, just want to reach out and just tell you, However you feel about it, man.
I'm gonna decide. I forget what we're deciding at this point, but
Anyway, let's move back another generation to the
let's talk about more Nintendo.
We're going to talk about more Nintendo because Nintendo
Yeah.
actually released their system last in the previous generation. We got the Wii, released on November 19th, 2006 at a launch price of $249, and it was just one SKU. You got the Wii, you got your Wii Sports, you got your all your little doodads like your Wii remote and your sensor bar and all that other cool shit. And there was a total of 30 plus games spread across actual launch titles, and they launched the virtual console the same date. So if you wanted to get a bunch of old titles on the Wii Shop channel, that was live and ready to go as well.
Cloud, I do want to say Al says I'm allowed to decide for him.
Okay.
Therefore, I'm allowed to decide for all listeners of the podcast.
Okay. But yeah, the Wii was released at a time where the gaming
2006.
the gaming landscape was booming. Like lots of people were getting excited for games.
This was like we're about to hit that ramp.
Yeah, we're about to hit that ramp. And the Wii really helped with the casual market in taking off with when it comes to like just gaming getting bigger in general. Because
that's what happens when you release with SpongeBob SquarePants, creature from the Krusty Krab.
Yeah.
Oh, but Landon, don't forget Happy Feet.
Oh,
and
I would never
Disney
forget
Pixar's
that.
Cars.
Listen, I'm sure that Grandma and Grandpa were really excited to play Red Steel.
Hell yeah, brother. The first
told,
Red Steel was ass.
The only thing I remember really anyone truly talking about from this launch lineup, besides Wii Sports
Twilight
is
Princess.
the obvious one, is Twilight Princess.
Legend of Zelda Twilight
because
Princess.
It came out earlier for
On
the
the
Wii
Wii.
than it did the GameCube.
Right.
And no one knew how to swing a sword or be right-handed if they were left-handed. And those people just got to suffer.
Hey, today is actually National Left-Handed Day, so
thank you. Hi.
Thank you, left-handed people.
Thank you for suffering.
For suffering.
On the VOD, it looks like my right hand is up, but that's just because my webcam is like mirrored for some reason. I am a lefty. Yeah.
I will say the Wii launched with probably the greatest single title to ever come out. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
I was going to mention that.
Interestingly, the first major Dragon Ball game to come out on a Nintendo system since Budokai 2 or Sagas, one of the two.
Sagas is not a major title.
We're gonna not count
2,
that.
Please.
We're gonna count Budokai 2 exactly.
I refuse to acknowledge the existence of that game. So we're gonna go with Budokai 2, even if that's factually technically incorrect. It is more correct.
The thing I noticed about the Wii, not even talking about the virtual console titles, because like that's a totally separate beast. It's just cool to have those. But the launch lineup for the Wii has like a very large disparity of quality in its titles. you have some very good games here. Like, I mean, honestly, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2 is a great one. Obviously, Wii
fucking
Sports,
amazing.
Twilight Princess is big for a lot of people, and then
Marvel Ultimate Alliance is another like solid title.
And then you have games like Avatar: The Last Airbender,
and this was
Call of Duty
James
3.
Cameron. That was the James Cameron like one.
No,
Avatar.
But it
the
was
Last Airbender.
But the last
Airbender. Never mind.
But the Last Airbender game.
Yeah, no. I figured it out eventually. I had to say
and then Red Steel, like I mentioned before.
And then you have like
Tony
some
Hawk's
games.
Downhill Jam.
I was gonna say, then you have some games that are like within their series considered like lesser titles, like Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz, and like Claude said, Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. But they're not bad games, honestly. Like Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz is really fucking hard because it's all you know, hold the Wii remote and you control the level that way, and it's fucking not the best precision. And then like Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam is like, as the name implies, it's just you go downhill and it's all racing based. Like there's a point system and a combo system still, but it's like it's racing to the bottom of the hill. And you also control that with the Wii Remote motion controls. I played both of these games and they're both pretty decent.
We did get a new Excite game the first time since the N64 with Excite Truck. So sure.
Which is all right, but Excitebot's Trick Racing.
Yeah,
I was going to say
later. That came out later.
That one's the good one.
But you know
Trauma
what?
Center,
Trauma Center Second Opinion. Atlas came out with a launch.
Good one.
That came out as a launch title for the Wii. Thank you, Atlas. You saved the launch.
That is like considered actually one of the good ones too.
4 or 5 like really good games, and then
a lot of shit.
Yeah,
just like I know the Wii is known for being like the console with the most shovelware, but like man, just right out the gate, you have Avatar, Cars, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Happy Feet, fucking like SpongeBob, like so many like licensed titles just right out the gate.
To be fair, this was during the period where licensed like titles were still like
really big.
Like, oh yeah,
really big
for sure.
You can tell because when we go,
backwards.
If we go backwards and go back to the Wii U, like the just like 6 years later, the massive drop off on like launch licensed titles is like.
And when we get further down and we go like back in time more, it's also like
as we go forward back in time
to another world.
How
do you feel about the Wii Virtual Console real quick before we continue on?
Yeah, the Virtual Console launch title.
That's a big deal.
There's some pretty okay ones here.
There's okay, but like Mario Bros and not Super Mario Bros is still like that's very shocking. Like you get
that is weird.
Sonic 1 for Genesis
before Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Bros.
On the Nintendo Wii.
That's insane.
Yeah. But like Mario 64 makes up for that. Zelda 1 classic, haven't played it yet. Donkey Kong classic, haven't played it yet. Ultra Beast though, that's
Altered Beast.
Ultra
Beast.
Mega Beast.
What is this? Pokemon Sun and Moon?
I don't know. I played a fraction of Scarlet on my lunch break today. Not even my lunch break. I'm one of my paid breaks. And so now I'm thinking about how I want 6 Dun-Dun Sparses and to jettison the rest of my ox into the sun. Anyway,
F-Zero is
fine.
Yeah.
It's like the Virtual Console.
It's a little all over the place, but it's not bad.
Pissy. It's kind of pissy, honestly.
It's cool that they did get to launch it at the very moment that the Wii came out, because this was like Nintendo's first big foray into online support for their consoles. The GameCube was supposed to have it, and then they didn't really support it at all. So it's cool that the Wii actually started with a decent lineup of Virtual Console titles, and we're gonna go back just a couple of days, just 2 days into the past.
2 little days.
Because we got the PlayStation 3 that came out on November 17th, 2006. And Landon left a note here for me because the launch price, I was going to ask, do I have to say it? Even though we just had a podcast on the PlayStation 3. But yes,
legally,
we have 2 SKUs for $599 US for the bigger, higher end model with 60 gigabytes of internal storage and actual actual Wi-Fi support, because for some reason the $499 US 20 gigabyte model did not have Wi-Fi built in. Really weird. Still don't know why. So yeah, those are the 2 main SKUs starting out. And it came with 14 launch titles, not quite as many. And PlayStation Network was a thing that launched. And it did come with a couple of games. One of those is just kind of there. And the other one, I guess, exists. They both kind of exist. There's just 2.
I was going to say, I don't think I've actually ever seen these games.
Yep.
Blast Factor and Cash
Flash
Guns
Guns
Chaos.
Chaos. Yeah.
I think you just made those up.
Nope. I vetted these. I looked them up. I was like, those actually came out. Okay, sure.
Did you check on the PSN?
I should have.
Yeah.
But the
Well,
PlayStation
anyway.
3's PlayStation Store is slow as ass in 2025, so I'd rather not.
I mean, it was slow as ass in 2006.
Yeah. But yeah, 14 launch titles. I think notable ones you'll remember is the giant enemy crab game, Genji Days of the Blade, and Ridge Racer 7. Remember that one? But the big one is obviously going to be Resistance Fall Man. Like, that was the big one because that was Insomniac.
That's the Sony title.
That's the Sony title. But I mean, you had some other games. You had Marvel
Call of Duty
Ultimate
3,
Alliance.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Need for Speed Carbon, which was on the Wii list as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned it, but that one,
Untold
Carbon was fine.
Untold Legends Dark Kingdom, apparently published by Sony. I don't know anything about this game. I just know Sony published it.
I think you made that up as well.
I did
I
not.
think you're just
He's
making stuff up.
The game has on the box art some random warrior chick with her boobs showing. That's all I know about it. And
Sony
published it.
Online Entertainment. Wow.
Yep.
In PAL Electronic Arts published it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sony, the PlayStation 3, as we talked about in our previous podcast, you can just go ahead and listen to that one. But it's not surprising to see that the PlayStation 3 did not have a good start, because when you launch for $599 US, if you want the model with Wi-Fi and more storage, there is nothing.
Especially when your direct competition has been out for a year.
Yeah.
And this is all you have.
Like, the PlayStation 3's launch, I'm just gonna say it, out of the systems we've talked about so far, is the worst one yet. Easily.
I mean, not even factoring the price in. Like,
yeah, just look at the launch lineup. It's just not good. Like, and we talked about the circumstances of its launch when we talked about the PlayStation 3 as a whole in that previous podcast. Like, and I've already made enough jokes about it. We all know the PlayStation 3 was just ridiculed for its high price, its out of touch messaging. This is not it. If you're trying to launch a new console, this is not it.
Honestly, it needed more sports titles.
Yeah, I think it only has like 5 sports titles here. It could use like probably a few more of those.
I mean, 6 depending on how you count Tony Hawk, but Madden, 2 NBA basketball games, NHL, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 07, Tony
Call
Hawk's
of Duty
Project 8, Call of Duty is another sports title.
Clearly, yes.
Mobile Suit Gundam Crossfire, another sports title. It's like just bloated with sports titles.
Yeah.
Hey,
could use a few more though.
If you were,
honestly,
I want to hear Al's thoughts. Ring off in the chat if you've played Crossfire and if it's worth a PS3 launch for.
Yeah, was it worth $600 to purchase?
Plus, however much the game cost,
which was like $40.
But let's just keep going because we still got a lot more system to go through. The Xbox 360 came out a year before, as was alluded to. On November 22nd, 2005, came out with 2 SKUs, and I actually learned a little bit today about these. $399 for the main model. It came with 20 gigabytes of internal storage, and it had all your bells and whistles for the launch Xbox 360. There was also a $299 core model, which at launch had no internal storage. Later, they would have a little bit packaged in for your save data, usually half a gig, just 500 megabytes or so. And also, the core model did not come with a wireless controller. It came with a wired controller. Very, very interesting. It did come with 18 launch titles, and Xbox Live Arcade, which already existed for the original Xbox, did get a bunch of launch titles for the 360. Most of them are not worth mentioning, but there was Geometry Wars, and they ported Gauntlet Remember Gauntlet, the game where the wizard needs food badly? That
Oh
shit,
yeah.
that shit's here.
We got that shit on lock.
But 360, you had notable stuff was Cameo, Elements of Power that came out. Perfect Dark Zero was
It-
weirdly
it's
probably the
got
one that the one they wanted to go for. You got Project Gotham Racing 3.
it's got Gun.
Got Gun. Capital Gun.
Classic
Gun.
original Xbox game that I see in like used game stores all the time.
For $1. Anyway,
Yeah.
folks that really care about Al's opinions, he said, I did not play Crossfire, heard it was bad.
Nice. So
So
another
definitely worth the $640 minimum purchase at launch.
nice. So yeah, Xbox 360. Let's say this: the launch lineup was not as bad as the PlayStation 3.
No, it has
there's not-
it has
There's just
it
nothing
launched with a better
speaking to me though,
No.
outside of the Xbox Live Arcade titles.
it launched with a better Tony Hawk game than the PS3 did. American
that.
Wasteland is a great game, and Project 8 is okay. But they both got Project 8, so meh.
But yeah, it's like Landon said, there's like nothing really speaking to me personally. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's like it's kind of like the PS5 launch. It's like there's nothing really here that's like really, really good, but like it's fine. It's passable. It's a launch line.
Honestly, I'd say this is worse than the PS5 only because the PS5 has the Pathless, and I played and beat the Pathless. I have a platinum trophy for that.
There you go.
Almost nothing here makes me that excited, except for maybe Hexic HD, which was pre-installed on the system.
Yeah, to like coincide with Xbox Live Arcade getting Xbox 360 support, they were like, here's a free digital game.
Which I
Literally-
remember going over to a friend's house, and I would stay up like throughout the entire night, and at some point everyone else would fall asleep, and I would just either start watching whatever random show we had been watching or movie, continue to watch that, or just put on Hexic HD and just play that until sunrise, and someone woke up and was like, "What, did you ever go to sleep?" And I'd be like, "No."
What's sleep?
What's sleep? And then I'd go home and sleep.
Literally, the only game on here that I have any interest in is Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, and that was also on the GameCube, so I don't give a shit. This lineup is kind of ass.
Gauntlet, Geometry Wars 3, Retro Evolved, and Hexic HD are like the games
It's got Bejeweled 2, though.
It's got Bejeweled, baby! Bejeweled 2.
So that is the 7th generation consoles. Before we get to the Generation 6 consoles, because that's probably going to be one of the last like really big ones we're going to be talking about, I think now is a good time for our little like housekeeping section.
Oh, thank God.
So
I've been craving to go away.
And get a Tillamook product.
Ugh.
he's
Yeah.
Jack, would you be willing to take it away? Because I got to get up for something.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
What's this month's Patreon video? Have we decided on that yet?
We haven't put it out yet. We have to do it. But we're going to be doing our PS3 recommendations. A bit of a PS3 buyer's guide from the three of us. We're going to pick our favorite PS3 games that we would recommend other people play specifically, and like be like, these are PS3 games you should play on PS3. So
Okay, I can get everything else. I just forgot what our video was for this month. We haven't recorded it yet, if you can't tell. Anyway, hey everybody, we have a Patreon. You can subscribe to our Patreon for, let's see, what are the prices again? I always forget. Let's see. Fuck, I can never remember. I believe it's $3 and $5 a month. God, you know what? I'm going to talk about the Discord instead. Hey, we have a Discord. You should join our Discord. let's see. Currently, our streams, we stream, every week on Twitch. I recently just finished Super Mario Galaxy 2, all 242 stars in that. And just yesterday, I started Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I blanked on the name for a second. Jesus. Let's see. Cloud is still playing through Final Fantasy VI, and Landon is in the middle of Dragon Quest IV for the Nintendo DS. Let's see. What else do we have going on? We mentioned the Patreon video.
I'm excited for Final Fantasy VI after we're done with it, because I'm going to be putting a poll up for my next games. I'm not sure exactly what's going to go in that poll, but we're going to be taking a break from RPGs. That much I know, because I don't have enough time for that, because I'm going to be doing a Spookfest game. So I need to make sure I got room to do something really quick and then go to Spookfest, because that's coming up pretty soon. It's going to be pretty cool.
All right, I'm going to plug the Patreon again because I kind of fucked up the first time. We have a Patreon. For $3 a month, you can join our Silver Stooge tier, where you can vote on future content for the channel. You can vote on like podcast titles and our podcast topics, our stream titles, and you get occasional exclusive content. You get the monthly video. You get the monthly videos at $3, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the Gold Stooge tier for $5 a month. It's basically all that. You get a specific shout out for being our supporter and being cool.
Awesome.
And that is, I think, everything.
All right. Landon, do you want to just tell us what Tillamook you got with you today real quick, and then we'll jump back in?
Oh, yeah. Today, I love playing Dragon Quest IV, Chapters of the Chosen on
See, I mentioned that.
twitch.com/GamingStooges.
Jack already went over that.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to mention anything about
what's
the
your Tillamook flavor?
No, that's what I just said that. I love playing Dragon Quest IV,
That's
Chapters
not
of the Chosen.
that's not a
Is that-
Tillamook
Oh
flavor.
yeah, show us the tub and see where it says that.
wish I
I
had my
love
copy
playing
actually up
Dragon
here.
Quest IV.
Just put it in
Tillamook
front of
flavor.
just put it in
Just
front of the freaking Tillamook tub. Yeah. All right.
Today, we are eating caramel swirl, which is an old-fashioned vanilla ice cream with a swirl of caramel.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump back. We're going to go to the 6th generation of game consoles. We actually did a podcast on this whole generation, as we did for 7th generation. And I'm not going to lie, we're going to get into some pretty good systems, I want to say. I got a little bit of a bias. But the most recent of which is the Nintendo GameCube, released on November 18th, 2001, launched for $199. And the launch lineup consisted of 12 games. We're about to start getting to most of the time smaller lineups as we go back. But Nintendo GameCube.
We're talking about some classics in this lineup. Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. Disney's Tarzan Untamed, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Oh wait, no, that one's actually cool.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, great game actually. Let's
smaller
see.
lineup, but there's some decent stuff. We got
there is some pretty okay stuff here. Unironically, Luigi's Mansion is the big one, and on top of Luigi's Mansion being like the big first party title for the launch of the system, like less than a month later, this system would also get Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is like almost but not quite a launch title considering how close to the original launch it is. You got fucking Super Monkey Ball, man, in launch title for the GameCube, Super Monkey Ball. That's insane. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which is also on every other system in existence at the time, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, it's a great game.
GameCube got it, and also got Crazy Taxi, which was originally on Dreamcast, but
Version it's not the same. They changed the soundtrack and it's not as good.
it's still Crazy Taxi.
Jack, no one cares about your opinion.
Okay.
How much worse is the soundtrack? Is it bad or is it just not as
They
good?
they just changed the bands and it's just completely different. It's like I don't know, man. It's supposed to be like the same game, but the soundtrack is just it's not it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I
Never
will
mind, Jack. Everyone appreciates your opinion.
Thank you, Landon.
I will say, as far as launch lineups go, I don't think that this launch lineup is bad, but there is like Luigi's Mansion is the standout game, but it's like for me that's kind of like on par with like New Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U, where it's like it's notable, but is it like is it like I don't know how big of a deal it like really is on like a wider scope.
For me personally, I think I like New Super Mario Brothers U more than Luigi's Mansion 1.
Oh, I do too.
Um,
I mean, I don't get to talk though, but
I think the bigger issue is like New Super Mario Brothers U came out around the same time we had just gotten like or were getting the 3DS entry. So like
It was like a month later.
Yeah, it was like just like the repetitiveness at the time of like releases of new Super Mario Brothers titles. Like it just hit a saturation point for that point. It's just crazy to me. Like Nintendo was just like, here's Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's gonna star a game. People like
Why not?
Luigi, right?
I mean, it wasn't.
It is a fresh new game, but as far as like putting it out there as like your premier launch title, it's a bold it's a bold move. It's a bold move.
My guess is that they wanted to have Super Mario Sunshine be a launch lineup, but it like wasn't ready in time. So they wanted to like give it a year, and they were like, "All right, we're not gonna have Super Mario Sunshine ready for launch. We got to do something else."
They were probably also hoping Super Smash Bros. Melee would be ready, but that also definitely needed because it came out 2 weeks later, so it was like almost there, not quite. But yeah, it's honestly though, it's not a bad lineup. Like it's smaller, but it gives you what you want. You've got decent versions of games that are on other systems, and then you have a couple interesting gets here like Star Wars, Super Monkey Ball, Luigi's Mansion. So like it's got some personality. We'll say that it's pretty nice personality of a launch. Any closing thoughts, Landon? Or you had something else to say?
Cube.
I just because you asked and I could not remember who was in the GameCube soundtrack for Crazy Taxi. I looked it up. I don't recognize a single damn one of these bands. I do not know any of them. The original Crazy Taxi, it only had 7 songs, but it was 4 Bad Religion songs and 3 Offspring songs, and that is better than anything in the GameCube soundtrack.
Yeah, true. All right, let's go back 3 more days for the Xbox, OG Xbox. Microsoft's first foray into the gaming world. Came out on November 15, 2001 at a launch price of $299. I looked everywhere to make sure that this was correct, and apparently it is. I could have sworn that it was getting sold for more money than this, and it probably was in like very small pockets of time, but the launch price was $299. Also launched with a hefty lineup of about 20 games, quite a bit. Although, to be fair, quite a lot of these are like sports titles and a couple of these are racing titles. But there's also some pretty interesting stuff here, like
Shrek.
So obviously standouts, in my opinion, you've got obviously Halo Combat Evolved is the big one. Like that is the killer app. That is you buy an Xbox and you're getting Halo. Like
it's the reason that Microsoft stayed in the console business after this system.
But you also got
is this honestly, besides Wii Sports, like
One of the most
The
important
biggest
launch titles so
of all
far,
time. Yeah.
Like
and probably
Wii
of all
Sports,
time. Yeah,
Nintendo Land to a very lesser extent because the Wii U,
yeah.
Yeah.
The Wii U is the
But
Wii U.
the Wii U is the Wii U. As much as I love the Wii U, Wii Sports was the killer app.
Yeah.
Halo Combat Evolved is
S-
the
yeah.
killer app.
yeah.
Just like Wii Sports, Halo Combat Evolved sold the system. Like that is
Yeah.
just objectively speaking, people bought this thing to buy that game and play that
Like,
game.
how many of these systems have we talked about? And like, the killer app does not come out until much later. Like, it is
Exactly.
not in the launch. Like, even like GameCube, the killer app that like during the launch period was Melee. Honestly,
And that was
did
2
not
weeks
come out,
after.
and that's like after the fact. So like, yeah, no. Halo was great, but keep going.
We got Dead or Alive 3 is cool. You got Fusion
That's a good one.
Frenzy is a pretty fun party game. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, Project Gotham Racing. So like there's a decent lineup of launch games here and a good variety of them too.
I'd like to point out that there are 2 different NASCAR games here, NASCAR
Yes.
Heat and NASCAR Thunder. What is this, fucking Pokemon?
And the funny
Where you have to pick your version?
the funny thing is that NASCAR Thunder doesn't exist anymore. NASCAR Heat is actually still a series. So
Really?
yeah, NASCAR Heat still had, I don't know when the last one came out, but like there was a Heat game like as far as recently as like this past generation. Like there's they
That's
still make NASCAR Heat games.
that's
They-
crazy that
you-
they had.
Cannot say that about Thunder.
Oh, they were different publishers.
Yeah.
Okay, so NASCAR Thunder
It's-
was EA and NASCAR Heat was Infogrames.
Yeah, it's like the situation with like the NBA 2K versus NBA Live situation where it's like two different series from two different publishers.
For some reason, the thought had not even registered in my mind that there could possibly be 2 different publishers for a NASCAR game.
You were just like Fire and Thunder. These are Pokemon games, and NASCAR.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I can't blame you for that. But
I also want to point out something kind of interesting. See, the Xbox and the GameCube launched just 3 days apart. Like Xbox was just 3 days before. For some reason, though, the Xbox, instead of getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which was already out on the PS2 for like a month at this point, or like a couple weeks, not a whole month, but like it came out in October for PS1 and PS2. But the Xbox, instead of getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, they got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X, which is kind of like a remastered in the same sense that like it's basically a port with like upgraded performance of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. But for some reason, Xbox would not get Pro Skater 3 until March of 2002.
Which is a normal thing for Xbox. The original Xbox did have a lot of weird instances where it got ports after. It was like
It's so weird.
It's weird, but yeah, that's a thing. But I mean, I gotta say, launch lineup actually pretty good. Like not.
I mean,
it's pretty good.
It doesn't matter because it got Halo, and
Yeah.
that's
all it needed.
That's all it needed.
But
If
it could
literally have
more.
launched. It could literally have launched with just Halo, and that would have been enough for
we
Xbox.
probably all would have been like, yeah, that's a great launch lineup.
Yeah, like honestly, launching your console with one game and it being Halo, that's kind of hard, actually.
We'll talk about
they
it later. There's a couple other systems that get away with this where they only have like a couple games and there's the one game.
Yeah.
And that's all it needed.
Yeah.
Like they could have done that.
They knew they wanted a little bit more power to throw in, so they put on Shrek.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's
You got to throw in Shrek. Make sure that they can't ignore the
Halo,
girth.
Shrek, everything else. That's the tier ranking for the launch lineup for this system. That's definitive.
So yeah. I mean, of course, the Xbox did launch with the Duke control, the big fat controller.
Oh yeah.
Can you handle it? Can you handle it?
No,
It's a big guy.
no, I can't handle it.
But yeah, Xbox, pretty good lineup. Let's move on, though. We got the PlayStation 2 released the year before on October 26, 2000. The current, as of this podcast, the best-selling system of all time. We'll see if that holds. Launched at $299, so actually a little bit more than I was expecting. I forgot that it was one of the two more expensive systems of this generation. But it came with a hefty lineup of almost 30 games. And I'm not going to lie, as I look down this list of games, nothing sticks out like on Xbox, really.
What is Sony's like? What did they release? I don't even know. Like looking at this,
Like the PS2 would get a lot in its first year, but the launch lineup is questionable.
It's like almost 30 games, and like I don't see anything here that's like really
It's like
you have
like
SSX, but that's not
is
a
pretty
system
good.
seller.
Tekken Tag Tournament, I think, is a good one. I don't actually know. It's got Kessen, which is the game that Donkey always like says when he means to say Tekken, which I think is funny, and that's the only reason I know why it exists. But that's there's really not a lot here.
Like games.
It had Armored Core 2, okay, all right. DOA 2, I'm
like
pretty sure that's Dead or Alive 2 hardcore, like okay, all right.
Dynasty
like
Warriors 2, like, but once
Ridge,
again,
Ridge Racer 5, okay,
lot of
yes.
sports.
If this had like a real like killer app, I think that like it would just bolster the whole lineup to just being more solid. But there's just no killer app. Like I think the biggest game that the PlayStation 2 would get early on in its life is like Final Fantasy X and like GTA 3, and those weren't till the year after.
What the fuck is Orphan Scion of Sorcery?
I don't know. I looked it up to make sure it was a launch title, and it is.
This is an Activision game. What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, the PlayStation 2
RPG.
The PlayStation 2 pretty much just got by scot-free off of having PS1 backwards compatibility and DVD playback and being the successor to the PlayStation.
Yeah, it helped that it could just play PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah. And that it was a DVD player.
Yeah.
Because until those other games were coming out later on, like 2001 and shit, yeah. Weak
like it would get
lineup.
It would get some cool shit in its first year, like Metal Gear Solid 2, Ico, Silent Hill 2. Yeah, Silent Hill 2. I don't remember which one came out first. Yeah, like, but here there's not that much.
If you showed me on paper, you said, all right, there is a system that will cost $300 and has these games, and a system that'll come out 1 year later and has these games, I would point at like these, they're going to come out at the same price. Which one do you think will do better overall in its life cycle without like any of the specs? If I would just looked at the launch titles, knowing the price,
yeah,
I would point at the one that has Halo.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like
the circumstances are different. The circumstances are Xbox was coming out and it was its first time going, so it was the underdog, and PlayStation was king of the mountain and completely unstoppable. And it managed to continue to be unstoppable with a really shitty launch lineup, to be honest, out of what we've talked about so far.
Coming out a year prior from your competition and having a very affordable DVD player, essentially, is all you needed.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, interesting that the king of the generation and the is definitely, and we're spoiler alert, the weakest launch lineup out of all four of the systems from this generation, because a year before that came out, we had the Dreamcast released on September 9th, 1999 at a launch price of $199. And the Dreamcast came out with about 20 launch titles, 19 to be specific. And there's some like whatever stuff here, but like you got the original Soul Calibur, you got Ready to Rumble Boxing, you got Power Stone, you got
Hydro Thunder,
and then of course, the killer app, the GOAT, Sonic Adventure. Like,
I thought you were going to say NFL Blitz 2000.
Isn't NFL 2K like one of the highest rated games of all time on Metacritic?
I think so.
Or is it 2K1?
It's one of those two. It's like a very like it's like right turn of the century NFL games. But yeah, like this is a pretty strong launch lineup. Like yeah, there's like some other, like I said, there's other whatever stuff here. Like we didn't mention everything, but like
It was 2K1.
you got
Has a 97 on Metacritic.
you got some pretty solid games here. Like if you put
Yeah.
this lineup next to the PS2s and did the whole thing that Landon said, like I would pick this one. Like
Yeah.
No. If you showed me the 4 consoles, told me the release date, the price point, and you just listed off the games it'll come out with, I
would
would
say
pick
Dreamcast every time.
I would pick the
I would
PlayStation
probably
2
say-
last.
I would
Yeah.
probably say Dreamcast first, because Soul Calibur, Power Stone, and Hydro Thunder,
Yeah.
and then honestly Xbox just for Halo,
Yep.
and then go GameCube, and then
And then
not,
yeah, and then vomit
Ignore
into,
the PS2.
vomit into the toilet, and then like slip on a banana peel, and then the PlayStation 2.
unless you told me that was also a DVD player, then I would actually buy that first.
Yeah, exactly.
$300 for a DVD player, man.
Exactly. Like
But
Dreamcast.
no, it's so sad that like Sega was already done when this console was coming out. Like Sega was,
They were on the
Like,
way
they were-
out, and by the time the first two systems we talked about from this generation were not even out yet, they were just announced and they were just revealed. Sega was just like, I'm out. Done.
yeah. So it sucks that this is 95% of the Dreamcast's like library. We're just talking about it. This is the Dreamcast podcast right here.
So
It's not true, but
No. But
you
there's
guys
a
want
lot here.
you guys want a quick breather of a console launch back? We're gonna go back a generation.
I could
and
use it, honestly.
a few years. We had on September 29th, 1996, you had the Nintendo 64 was the last system to release of its generation. It came out for $199, so a pretty reasonable price. And I had all of 2 launch titles in North America, Pilot Wing 64 and Super Mario 64. That is it.
It's one of those where
Wow.
you're just like, yep.
Yep.
Mario
That's all they
64
needed.
Mario 64, done. You're sold. That's it.
That's the game.
Pilot Wings is just there to
look pretty,
just
and
in case.
it is a solid game to go alongside it if you're that enthusiastic. But let's be real, you really only needed the one game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. I mean, let's compare this to PlayStation
Yeah.
Yep.
and
PlayStation 2.
I guess
Yeah.
the other one. Well, I was just talking about original PlayStation. Let's see how well this compares.
So we got the PlayStation came out a year before on September 9th, 1995 at a launch price of $299 and came out with 12 titles. And I'm looking here and like a lot of people will talk about Battle Arena Toshinden. And you got the original Rayman, you got the original Ridge Racer, but like nothing really sticks out and there's nothing in the launch lineup that really screams by PlayStation.
Street Fighter the movie, though?
Yeah, Street Fighter the movie.
Street Fighter the movie, the game based on the movie, based on the game?
Yeah.
I think I'm a little more partial to ESPN2 Extreme Games myself. Yes, yes,
too.
yes, it is both ESPNs presenting the game.
Because that's really funny.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition is there.
Yeah, it's there.
The first Rayman
it.
is a game.
Yeah.
So
once again, Super Mario 64, Pilot Wing 64
versus all of these.
PlayStation.
I would take Super Mario 64.
Exactly. That's all you need. It is a genre. Yeah. It is a generation defining game. And the PlayStation does not have that in this lineup.
Like genuinely, I will give Super Mario 64 shit for not aging the best. I said the line. But
I said it.
But like it is one of it is one of the most influential video games like of all time. Like the sheer number of 3D platformers that would spawn from Super Mario 64 just existing is nuts.
If you gave
Yeah.
me the N64's lineup, I would still prefer it over like most of what we talked about previously.
Honestly, yeah. Like
Oh,
just
yeah.
hey, I mean the batting average here is 1,000. Like Pilot Wing 64 and Super Mario 64 are both great games.
So yeah, that was PlayStation, but Landon wanted me to also got the other contender for this generation. You had the Sega Saturn, which was shadow dropped here in North America on March 11th, 1995, when they literally said at E3, by the way, it's out now. It came out at $399, and it only had a handful of launch titles, 6 to be exact. There's a couple good ones here. I mean, you got Daytona USA, you got Panzer Dragoon Virtua Fighter, and then 3 other games. Clockwork Knight, I guess, is one of those. But like,
Shout out to my buddy Colin, who does not play video games at all, but the Sega Saturn is the only system he owns, and he has like 3 of these games.
so like, it's I mean, Virtua Fighter is the big one for Sega Saturn. So
I mean,
like Panzer
that
Dragoon is
alone
also, but like that alone
that's
is
alone is already better than the PlayStation lineup.
already better than the PlayStation lineup. The
And
PlayStation
honestly,
1.
as far as
Here.
Daytona games goes, Daytona USA is like the best one because it's got the fucking theme song.
Is it
That's all you need.
Is it bad that out of all 5 of the PlayStation home consoles, the best launch lineup is arguably the PlayStation 5 and it was still a big fat whatever? Like,
It's kind of crazy.
It's really crazy how like the PlayStations, as we can see, are not built to be a launch lineup stellar moment. They are meant to be slow burn through the generation and get through.
They're growers, not showers.
Yeah.
They just never have that killer app to make you like want it. PlayStation 5 probably had the closest thing to killer apps with what Sackboy, Spider-Man Miles Morales, one other title that I'm forgetting because
Demon Souls.
It's been Demon Souls. Like that, those are probably the closest things to killer apps for a PlayStation launch.
Yeah,
because like otherwise you got like Knack and Killzone, Shadowfall,
like whatever,
and you got Resistance, and then did Sony publish games on the other 2 systems? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Exactly.
And I refuse to look it up.
So, weirdly, we'll award the PlayStation 5 with the best PlayStation launch lineup.
That's very sad. That's so fucking sad.
You did it.
That's
by virtue of nothing, you did it.
Yep.
Oh my god.
But Sega Saturn launch lineup, a small handful of games, not quite as good as Super Mario 64, industry-defining game, but it's still pretty good. So
yeah.
Landon had to get up for something, but he's not missing much because the next system that we're going to talk about came out in 1993. It was very late to the party. It's kind of weird. It's kind of in the middle of the 2 generations. But it came out on October 4th, 1993, and that is Panasonic's 3DO interactive multiplayer. And it came out at the launch price of $699 in
1993.
Like that's
that is expensive for a console today.
Yeah, $699 is expensive today, and that was 1993 money for the 3DO. And for $699, not including the game, you got Crash and Burn for your launch title.
Really?
Tell
me more.
We've found the worst launch. This is it. Like not only price, but just lack of games to play on it.
I've heard Crash and Burn as a game is fine, but the fact that it is your only game for a $700 console launch, it's bad. It's bad.
Although I guess the Saturn loses by default because it technically launched with 0 games. until the games actually came out
Yeah,
6 months after.
Yeah, if we want to be real, the launch lineup of the Sega Saturn, I mean, I don't know if it was actually 6 months after, but like the games did not come out originally right away. At least not all of them, because they were shadow dropped and people had no idea it was supposed to come out already.
Yep.
But the
yeah.
3DO
So
at least was definitively launched with a game.
A single game
A game.
with
Uh,
$700 in 1993
yep.
money.
We're gonna go back in time some more. There was a CDI somewhere released in this time period as we go back in time, but we're not gonna talk about it. So,
oops.
the Super Nintendo Entertainment System is the next system we're
I'm
gonna
sorry
talk
for
about.
deleting all your CDI like notes, by the way. That was my bad.
I didn't take any.
That was the joke. They didn't need to know that part.
Yeah. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System came out on August 23rd, 1991. Launched for $199. Much like the N64, a small lineup of games, 5 this time at least, though. And I'm just going to rattle them off because you had F-Zero, Gradius 3, Pilot Wings, the original one, SimCity, and Super Mario World. That's the big one.
This is a solid launch
a
lineup.
fucking killer
Like
lineup.
5
very much
games,
like-
and honestly, I could see myself wanting to play all of them.
Yeah, like F-Zero is great, Gradius 3 is great, Pilot Wings is great. I've never played SimCity, but people like it, and Super
I like
Mario
SimCity.
World is a fucking classic.
I like
No, this
SimCity.
is
So, yeah.
probably like
This is wasn't Mario World a pack-in title too, or would that not come until later?
I don't remember, and I tried looking into it, and I didn't really have time to like really dig deep to see. It was packed in at some point. It could have been, but I'm pretty sure at first it wasn't, but it was later. I don't know, but like still, even then, launching with those 5 games.
I also want to point out that this system launched at $199. Nintendo would not raise the price of their home consoles until the Wii.
Yeah.
The 64, the SNES, the 64, and the GameCube all launched at the exact same price, spread across a decade.
Fun fact, right?
Yeah. Jeez.
So,
also, I looked up how much the 3DO would cost in today's money, and the answer is $1,561.
that's more money than my laptop.
$1,561.
My gaming laptop, granted, on the gaming end, it's not quite as powerful as like top end PCs, but like my gaming laptop is less expensive than the 3DO would have been. Inflation.
I didn't spend that much on my PC. I spent like maybe $1,000 on it.
Yeah,
that's insane.
But you could have bought a 3DO.
I could have played Crash and Burn.
Could have bought a 3DO.
But yeah, going back to Super Nintendo though. That is the game we got to talk. That is the system we got to talk about. This is releasing at
10
a
out of 10
time.
launch lineup.
This is releasing at the time when Sega was really going hard on like trying to step into the console space. They were starting to dominate for a little bit. They had just released the original Sonic the Hedgehog, and like
Sega had a 2-year head start, and Nintendo was like bum fucking around. Like the NES is it. That's all we need. We don't need to make another system.
Yeah.
And then Sega started to take a little slice of the market share. And then Nintendo was like, well, guess what? Here's 5 games.
And they're the only 5 games you need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done. That's all you need.
They did a great job with this launch lineup, and they showed that there's a reason they still had a place in the industry. But here, let's talk about a system that didn't really have a place in the industry, because we got the Neo Geo AES, which is fondly remembered by a small handful of people on the internet. And I say a handful because I'm sure there's like 5 people out there that are big Neo Geo fans. The launch release, I could not find like a like 100% definitive launch, but a lot of signs are pointing to July 1st, 1991. It might have released slightly before that, maybe slightly after. Probably July 1st, 1991, though, I'm going to go with, because the Neo Geo did come out with a few different configurations, and a lot of people refer more to like the arcade cabinet version of the system that came out before that. But this is the home console release, so this is what we're going with. And it released not much less expensive than the 3DO because it was $649. And it came with a launch lineup of 14 games, a pretty vast array of games, and none of them have any notoriety. There's not even a there's no King of Fighters or anything that like would actually like really like stick out. But there is a cool kaiju fighting game, King of the Monsters.
There we
Uh,
go.
that's something.
Is a Godzilla-like monster in it?
A Godzilla-like monster is in it. So,
close enough.
Yeah.
Let's go spend 649, 1990, 1991 monies.
A lot of these games that came out for the Neo Geo AES were just ports of the stuff that were on the arcade versions of the system. So there's that. And there's a decent like variety as far as genres go. You've got like shooters, you've got some sports games, you've got a couple other things here and there. You have a kaiju fighting game, but yeah, like there's nothing that sticks out. Nothing here. Yeah.
Pass.
Pass.
And speaking of like vague launch windows, the next one going back, I had to like decide which one we were going to talk about first or second because like the launch window was that vague. But we're going to talk about the TurboGrafx 16, aka the PC Engine if you are outside of North America. Came out around August 1989. I don't have a specific release. I've heard August 29th from what I've like read based on the game launches, but it might have launched at a different point, August 1989. And because of how vague the launch window is for the TurboGrafx, Landon and I were talking about this off before we started recording, but like we're getting to a point where like some systems came out, and even if they had like a specific like original launch date, like they weren't just put across the nation at the same time. Like you're gonna have like some regions getting it first, and then other regions will get it later. So there's quite a few games that I have here, and I'm actually going to list them all off because there's only 10 that supposedly came out in November, but quite a few of those are considered launch titles. So I'm guessing that some of these games came out when the TurboGrafx launched in other parts of the country. Kind of weird. But there was Alien Crush. Blazing Lasers is one of those like November launches, and that's a big one for TurboGrafx. China Warrior, Dungeon Explorer is another big
Dungeon
one.
Explorer.
So I wanted to mention that one. That's like a big one for TurboGrafx. Keith Courage
Oh,
and
but
Alpha
we
Zones, Power Golf.
Got to talk about Keith Courage and Alpha Zones.
We got R-Type.
Gotcha.
You got R-Type, The Legendary Axe, Victory Run, and Vigilante. I mean, the big ones that stick out, I believe, are R-Type, Blazing Lasers, and Dungeon Explorer. Like those are the three like bigger ones.
I'd agree with that. I mean, those like make a
not too
pretty
bad.
decent launch. I would say I recognize more names in this list than I do with the Neo Geo AES.
Yes.
And the 3DO.
And the 3DO, yeah. And honestly, some of these are more interesting to talk about or think about than the PlayStation's lineup. So.
Yeah, definitely like Dungeon Explorer for me is way more interesting than most of the PS1 and PS2 launch lineup.
That's sad.
Combined.
Yeah, that's really sad.
The TurboGrafx, it's a shame because the TurboGrafx, it did really well outside of North America.
The US.
In the US, the TurboGrafx was non-existent. Like the system we're going to talk about next, the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo, were like the two systems. And even though there were other systems, and we are talking about some of them, they were basically irrelevant here. So, which is a shame because I do want to get into some TurboGrafx games.
Keith Courage is basically a Super Robot Wars game, says Al.
And that's awesome.
That's fucking awesome.
Now I gotta play this now.
Well, it features a character from Super Robot Wars.
That's
I should
awesome.
say, based on his Keith Courage is the Western version of
Wataru, which was in
Wataru,
was in Super Robot Wars. That's pretty cool.
There you
That's
go.
amazing.
So, we're gonna
thank you, Al, for being our source on Super Robot Wars knowledge.
Yeah,
and Gundam.
More solid release date, August 14th, 1989. We got the Sega Genesis, which launched at $189. And it only launched with a handful of titles. we had Altered Beast, Last Battle, Space Harrier 2, Super Thunderblade, Thunder Force 2, and Tommy Lasorda Baseball.
Tommy Lasorda. Oh my god, this fucking box art. Hold on, I need to put this in the fucking spoilers.
I'll say
it's just Tommy Lasorda's face.
For a launch lineup, I mean, Altered Beast and Space Harrier 2 are pretty cool.
Super Thunderblade and Thunder Force 2, I also recognize.
Yeah.
So but, I mean, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not
Super Nintendo quality, that's for sure.
It's not Super Nintendo quality, and it's not honestly Dreamcast quality, but it's still like
it's a shame.
Like, it's better than some of the other ones we've talked about.
This was the launch lineup in North America because they had postponed the launch until like early 1990 or so in Europe. By the time it came to Europe, they had Ghouls and Ghosts, they had Alex Kidd, like they had a lot more shit going on by the time it reached Europe. But our launch lineup was
this is kind of piss, honestly.
I think it's okay. I mean, it's fine. It's better than the Neo Geo. It is probably a little bit less than the Turbo graphics. Better than the 3DO by default of just having more than one game and having a game worth anything.
And having a system that's affordable.
It's a shame because, like, honestly, and we're going to get to it, like, next system we're going to talk about, the Genesis possibly arguably has the weakest of Sega's lineups, like as far as launch goes.
Like the Saturn, okay, the launch for the Saturn was worse, but the lineup for the Saturn is better. Yeah. Like it's got Panzer Dragoon and Daytona USA and Virtua Fighter. Like that beats out everything that the Genesis has.
Yeah. It's just not having the games at the actual launch date and having to wait
to get more games, yeah.
But then again, the Genesis does have Tommy Lasorda Baseball, so
that's important.
There you go, baby.
And then as I hinted at this, the next system we're going to talk about is another Sega console, because in roughly September 1986, another staggered release based on the region, we had the Sega Master System, which launched at $200, and it came with 8 launch titles. And you do have the likes of Fantasy Zone, which is a pretty well-known shooter. You've got Hang On and Safari Hunt. I believe that was actually packed in with certain bundles. And there's some other stuff here. Nothing that sticks out too much, but like Fantasy Zone, Hang On, and Safari Hunt. That's all you need.
That's honestly...
That's actually a good, like, for Sega Master System, like those are some good, strong games.
Those are good, strong titles for the Sega Master System. Mm-hmm. It, like... You can really debate between those versus Altered Beast and Space Harrier 2. Like, in terms of, like, depending on, like, what you like. But, like, it's... The Master System was also fairly shortly lived, so...
Yes. It came out less than 3 years before the Sega Genesis did for us. So it didn't last long, it didn't have long enough to make much of an impact, and it came out at a time when nobody gave a shit about this thing because everybody was too busy playing Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
speaking of Super Mario Brothers,
we're going to talk about the Nintendo Entertainment System, which came out. The original launch was October 18th, 1985, but again, very staggered release. It went out to different parts of the country at different points. A lot of the launch was like late 1985 and early 1986. Like that's when most of the country would get it. But original launch, 1985, launched at $180, and we had 17 launch titles. And you know what? It's the NES. We'll just go through them real quick. You got 10-Yard Fight, Baseball, Clue Clue Land, Duck Hunt, Excite Bike, Golf, Gyromite, Hogan's Alley, Ice Climber, Kung Fu, Pinball, Soccer. You're seeing a pattern. A lot of these are very simple titles. Stack Up, Super Mario Brothers is the big one, obviously. Tennis, Wild Gunman, and Wrecking Crew. And I did add an extra little note here for NES specifically because of the market at the time. The NES was coming in at a time when like the gaming market in North America, especially US, was dead because Atari killed it because Atari was fucking stupid. So when NES came out, it had to like play itself as like a toy.
Yep.
So you had a bunch of bundles. The very first bundle, you had Rob and the NES Zapper, but literally just bundled into this $180 system with a game for each of those to play with, Duck Hunt and Gyromite. But later on, they realized they didn't need to bundle it with all that stuff, and they just tossed in Super Mario Brothers and called it a day, and everybody was happy with that. So
Honestly, Super Mario Brothers killer app.
all you need.
It's one of those. This is like on the same par as like original Xbox, where they put out the killer app, some other stuff to go alongside it.
And then a bunch of other shit that's like you can take it or leave it.
Yeah, but it's like I would say this is like this 64 and Xbox I would put like in a similar pool as far as like
Yeah,
has the killer app.
we talked about like a lot of people talk about the NES and like it's kind of boring to like talk about the NES library sometimes, but like the launch lineup was strong. Like it came in and it was ready to go. It's
Duck Hunt, Sight Bite, Golf, Ice Climber, Super Mario Brothers, Tennis, Wrecking Crew. Like those alone, like I would say that's like a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
They're all solid.
Yeah.
I don't mind playing those for NES titles. I don't like.
Yeah.
It's like pretty solid overall. I mean, like a lot of these are like some of the more notable titles on the system.
Right.
Like everybody talks about fucking, Duck Hunt and Excite Bike and shit like that when talking about NES games. Like obviously it's got Super Mario Brothers, but like, it's pretty solid overall.
Yeah. Definitely one of Nintendo's, maybe even arguably Nintendo's strongest launch lineup. And one of the strongest overall, I would say. So yeah, good lineup.
Yeah. Solid.
And then the last system we're going to talk about, unfortunately, not quite as strong of a launch lineup. We actually are going to talk really briefly about the Atari 2600, originally known as the Atari VCS. Launched at $189. So weird price. I actually had specifically seen $189.95. I don't know why that was a thing, but sure. And it
Pennies
launched,
are bad. Okay.
It launched with 9 titles. Just gonna say Air Sea Battle, Basic Math, Blackjack, Combat, which was a pack-in, I believe. Yeah, I was reading it sounded like Combat was packed in with a bunch of these. Indy 500, Starship, which I don't know anything about. Street Racer, Surround, no idea what that game is. And Video Olympics. Okay. It's an Atari 2600 and it has games.
I was going to mention how I was like, oh, wow, they have an Indy 500 game on the launch lineup. I wonder what that's like. And then I remember that it's the Atari 2600 and it looks like this.
It looks like this, exactly.
I posted it in the spoilers. Join our Discord.
He could have also said it looks like piss, and that
it does look like piss.
Yeah. I mean, we are too young to have fondness for the Atari 2600. And this was
way before our time.
And this is like the last system that came out in the like early era of home console gaming, and it was the first. It wasn't the first, but it was like the major system that had like interchangeable cartridges and games, and it had the model that we know games to be now. So like I had to throw it in, but it's like it's kind of a whatever list. So
yeah, it's the NES is honestly like that's the line I feel like for us, like as far back as like we're willing to go and talk about and like have like some knowledge about, because some of those games are worth talking about.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily dislike some of the old Atari stuff. There's some really good old Atari stuff.
Asteroids, like Space Invaders, like
solid Missile Command, like
Command.
That shit's like fun, but like none of those are here, so fuck this shit.
Exactly. So like whatever. So I want to go around real quick and I want to say I want to know what do you think are like pick like 3 or so of like the best launch lineups and which ones are the worst in your opinion as well. You don't have to
I
say
think we can
3. You could say
all.
just 1 or
Should
2
we
of them.
all agree on one worst right now? I feel like we can all just like boom there.
Which one?
I mean, are we all thinking the 3DO or are we all thinking something else?
I mean, 3DO, obviously.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I want to say 3DO because it's one game and it was you know what? Yeah. If I put everything together, like not just launch lineup, but like the circumstances of it launching, it was
I
a
guess
$700 system with one game. So yeah, that's definitely terrible. But like
if we put in the circumstances as well, Jack had mentioned it, but the Sega Saturn would technically be
yeah.
the
Well,
worst.
I was gonna say, like, if I just wanted to go off launch lineup, I actually think the PS2 would be the worst.
The PS2.
Crash and Burn, I've heard objectively is like one of the best 3DO games. The problem is it's a 3DO game. It's on 3DO. But
Yeah.
like I've heard it's a good game. It's just the only thing there. But like so it had a game, but the PlayStation 2, like it has 30 games and none of them matter to me. So like I would say the PS2 if I was just going off the launch lineup, but
Yeah, if you're not into SSX or Armored Core 2 or Ridge Racer 5, like yeah, I understand that.
but yeah, no, the 3DO is probably objectively just because of like what we've said earlier is like yeah, the worst.
Yeah. Okay. So then Jack, what are your top 3?
Top 3. I feel like you have to give it to Xbox because having Halo at launch is insane. And like there's some other great stuff on there too. Like you have fucking Tony Hawk and a lot of sports games and Dead or Alive 3. But like, I mean, I guess the bar is pretty low for launch lineups now that I'm looking at the full Xbox launch. But honestly, Halo is enough to put it up there. Like it's a big enough game that it's like, yeah, this is top 3. Definitely Super Nintendo. Like they were 5 for 5 on that one. That is a only 5 games, but like I would definitely argue quality over quantity on that one. And then probably, oh man, that's tough actually. I don't know what my third favorite would be. I'm tempted to say the 64 just for the boldness of only having 2 games and both of them being like extremely strong titles. I'm going to say the Dreamcast actually. I would say Xbox, Dreamcast, Super Nintendo.
Okay.
In that order?
No, I would say the Super Nintendo is probably my favorite launch, and then I would say probably okay. Super Nintendo, Dreamcast, Xbox.
So reversed from what you said. Got it.
Yes.
That's good answer, Steve. Good answer.
Yeah.
All right, so I am going to say, and my bias is definitely showing, my favorite out of all of these is actually probably the original NES, just because of just again the circumstances of its launch. It revived gaming and the launch
Yeah.
lineup. There's so many games here that I played and I have a fondness for. Like, like they're all simple games, but like it did what it was supposed to do. So like I would say the NES is probably my personal top pick.
That's a good answer. Good answer, Steve.
I gotta give number 2 to like Xbox. Like just and I was
Halo.
even more positive on it. Like you have I'm just looking here. I mean you have obviously Halo, but you have Dead or Alive 3, you have Fusion Frenzy, Project Gotham Racing, Oddworld. Like you have a variety here and strong titles at that. So like I think just the Xbox just came in swinging, and I got to give it to Xbox for that one. So that's going to be my number 2. My number 3 is tough because like you said, quality over quantity, Super Nintendo is definitely up there. But I think for the sake of variety, I also want to say Dreamcast for number 3. Just like launching with a killer app, and Sonic Adventure is still, strong. Super Mario World for SNES is a thing there too. But Dreamcast also had a lot of other strong contenders, as we talked about earlier, and variety at that. You had a Hydro Thunder if you wanted like a racing game. Soul Calibur is an all-timer if you wanted fighting game. So like just you had some good sports games because sports games were actually at their like peak right here at the turn of the century. So even though like sports titles not that interesting usually around this time, they got the job done. So I think that's probably my top three. Would probably be NES, Xbox, Dreamcast.
I'll probably go. My bias is going to show super, super hard here. Probably going to say Wii for number one.
That's a good. I mean, that's a
And
good
not
choice.
and not just because of Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
I mean,
But
I did say quality disparity, but the highs are high. Like,
yeah. Like there's some stinkers, but you're coming in at $249.99 when
less than the
you're
other two.
like, yeah, you're less than the other two by at least $50 or $350.
Exciting new way to
Ish.
interact with games at the
Yeah.
time.
And Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Like Wii Sports, and then Twilight Princess, Trauma Team, like come in and like really like, and
Rounded
Budokai
out.
Tenkaichi 2, honestly. Like all like round out a pretty good launch lineup and virtual console, so you can play like Zelda 1, Mario 64. How many consoles have Mario 64 as a launch title?
Yeah.
2.
Two. And
Two is one of them.
and you did pick one of them. So you know
I
what?
picked one of them.
Fair enough.
So this, by extension, honestly, it would have been real funny if they also included Pilot Wing 64, making the Nintendo 64 launch
Yeah.
100% irrelevant.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be really funny.
Good.
But like Mario 64, Sonic, Zelda 1, Mario Bros, Altered Beast, another
Launch
like launch.
another launch title.
Yeah. Sim City,
Another launch
launch
title.
title. Like it actually has a couple launch titles in it, which is funny. So like I like the Wii as like probably my number one.
That's a good
I'll
pick.
give Xbox my number two pick. Halo, good variety of other stuff. I think this is the only time we're all going to say something nice about Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this
Don't get
original
used to
Xbox, yeah.
If this
And
is your
then-
first time listening to a Gaming Stooges podcast, don't get used to this.
Yeah,
And
we
like,
don't
we
tend to
did-
talk about Xbox all that well, like in a positive light.
And the only other time was the Xbox Series, not the Xbox Series, sorry, the Xbox 360S. Those are the only two good things Microsoft has ever done with the Xbox brand. Was launching the Xbox, dropped off for a very long time,
and then fixing the Xbox 360.
and then that was it. That was very short lived as well.
Yeah, because
Go
then
listen to the go listen to the last one.
Because then they came out with the Kinect the same year.
Yeah, so original Xbox, and then once again, my bias, the Wii U.
Sure.
This might be quantity over quality, but there's some there's some stuff that I really loved playing for this launch, and like those alone like
The
make
Wii U
up
had
for the fact
the Wii U had the best launch lineup of its generation, if we're being
did.
honest. So
it did. So, and I'm being very biased because I bought a Wii U at launch, and like I literally played several of these games. Not many of these consoles I can say like I owned one of these consoles at launch.
yeah,
Let alone purchased it with my own money. And this is one that I distinctly remember buying at launch, and also owning a lot of these games within the first month.
yeah.
So
I'll say because I didn't get to mention this, I did not own any of these systems at launch, not a single one. So I don't really have like an attachment to the launch period. I'm just kind of looking at everything retrospectively. But there are instances where like I got a console early enough to get a lot of its launch era games, and yeah, But I mean, I think we all picked decent top threes. Like none of the ones we picked, I would say, were even in the lower half of the launches that we like. The Wii U passes like clears the bar, so like that's probably like the least of them, but that's still a solid lineup. Like, so none of the ones we
I
picked
liked
are
it.
like bad. So
I'm
Listen,
looking.
Nintendo Land, Mario
True.
Chase.
I'm looking through, like you mentioned, Cloud. You didn't have any of these consoles at launch either, or I didn't either. I mean, and I was thinking about it, like which of these consoles like did I get closest to launch? And I think it's actually the Wii U, because I bought that less than a year after it came out, like by like 2 weeks. I bought it on like the day after Halloween 2013. Um, and everything else, like almost every other console that I've gotten here was like GameCube for Christmas the year after it came out. Actually the Wii, you know what? Actually, never mind. It was the Wii. I forgot I got the Wii like 6 or 7 months after it came out.
for me,
But
it was
yeah, for the
either
most part.
it's hard. So like the closest I got to having one of these systems around launch, and I'm saying closest to launch very generously, is almost 2 years out for two consoles, and I don't know which one was first. It was either the PlayStation 2, which we got in some point in 2002. I don't know the exact part. I just remember getting it in 2002 because of everything that was happening around that time. So I know that I got it in 2002. I just don't remember the exact point. Or the Wii U because I got in 2014. And I know that I got that after Mario Kart 8 had already come out, but I don't remember how close I got it to the launch of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. So it was somewhere in that time frame. So depending on where those two land, one of them came first. I don't know which one. So it was either PlayStation 2 or Wii U, which is really weird because it's like one of them is one of the least successful consoles of all time, but has a strong launch lineup. The other is the most successful console of all time with an ass launch lineup.
Debatably, like
One of the worst.
one of the biggest nothing burgers of a launch lineup.
So like, yeah, I had a really weird one. What about I mean, Landon, you said Wii U, but was there anything else that was kind of close to launch for you?
I think Wii U. I think Wii was the other one that was closest. I think we got that Christmas, like after Christmas of '06, maybe '07. GameCube was quite a bit after. PS4 was a year later because I also got it in 2014. PS5 I got after the fact, at least like the following year. Um, yeah, so like a lot of this was like at least several months or a year after the fact. Or with the PS3, multiple years after the fact.
Yeah,
Even if it was in the household, like it became mine technically in
2011,
2013.
2013.
Uh, it became mine. So I was listening back to it.
Oh,
I used it a bunch starting in 2011. It became mine in 2013. That is why when I received that uh that
that's why I
bulk of
had Last
games,
of Us.
The Last of Us was like I was able to put it towards a pre-order of The Last of Us. That is why. So
Okay,
that
that
clears
makes
that up.
sense.
I was like, I said that wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I started playing it a lot more in 2011 because like I played Borderlands and Sonic Generations eventually. So yeah. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But no, yeah. Wii U, out of the consoles we talked about today, the Wii U is the only console I got on launch. And that's sad
Because that
that
is the only person that had anything at launch out of all of these systems.
I mean it had like 5 titles that I bought.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like at launch, Chasing Aurora, Mighty Switch Force, actually 6. Yeah, Chasing Aurora, Little Inferno, Mighty Switch Force, New Super Mario Brothers U, Scribblenauts Unlimited, and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed I all purchased, and then obviously Nintendo Land came with my console. So that's 7 titles like I got within like the first month. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No one
All
likes
right.
this system but me. I'm the only person who even like remotely likes the Wii U nowadays. Anyway, go listen to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker's OST on Nintendo Music.
Yeah. So that's everything that we have to talk about for today. In the next episode, we are going to be talking about the handhelds. So that'll be that for then. Landon, did you feel like we had enough time to rattle off what we've been up to, or is that about it?
Very short.
Very
if
short
you
and
got
brief.
like a little bit.
I can be brief. What about you, Jack? Can you be brief?
Brief.
Cool.
All right, be brief. You have the floor.
Be brief. Okay. Lately I've been playing a lot of Persona 3 Reload, and it's been very
Nice.
fun. I've been trying to get to it when I can. I haven't gotten super far, but I'm at the second full moon. So I'm like early June, still like working through it, but like I've been enjoying it a lot. Revisiting the world of Persona 3 has been fun. It's been a long time since I played the original, so it's been kind of like experiencing it again for the first time. Let's see, what else have I done recently? Last week, today, I went to see one of my favorite bands for the millionth time, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They played with the Chicago Philharmonic Orchestra to support their recent album, which has an orchestra on it. They're doing a fucking very short tour with live orchestra, and it was pretty fucking cool.
That sounds like it'd be a good show.
It was very sick. If I had more time, I would pull out the poster that I have in my fucking portfolio of posters because I have so many. But let's see. On last Saturday, went to a local music festival, which, you know, it's like mostly like death metal, hardcore, and emo. It's about like an hour out of town, but it's like mostly people from my area that go, and it's really fun. It's like they host it out of like just a garage in a person's house, and like people just like camp and
Just like a random person's house. Just like, hey, can we use your house?
I mean, he was
no,
it's
no,
not
no,
his-
I know.
not a random person.
Yeah, I
know
know,
what
I
mean.
know. I'm just joking.
But it's fun. It's just a bunch of people like hanging out and just like grilling and drinking and having a good time, and it was a lot of fun. And that's about it for me.
I ended up, so last time I got to update on what I've been up to, I was right near the end of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. I beat that basically like a day or two after, and that was pretty fun. I have quite a lot of thoughts, but I basically went over them the last episode. I started Persona 4 Golden because I don't want to wait for Revival to come out because it's probably not going to be out for another couple years. So I've been playing through that. I'm already like 30 hours in, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I am adjusting to the differences in like what quality of life features it has because it was released before Persona 5, which means that it's not quite up to the same like, you know, what it has to offer for like, you know, different features and
the
options.
modern standards of the
Exactly.
series.
But it's great. It holds up well. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. And I've also actually on the side been getting back into Phantasy Star 2, and I've actually went from being like at the first-ish dungeon of the game, almost second, to like being about 10 hours in. I've got like almost everybody in the party, and I'm about to like near the end of like the first major act of the game because I know the game's like kind of like split into 3 acts. Like not like rigidly, but there's basically like 3 major parts of the game. I'm almost near the end of the first one, so I'm looking forward to trying to get through more of that. Those are like the 2 games that I've been working on, and that's pretty much it. I bought and I played a little bit of UFO 50. I really got to get back to that though, because UFO 50 is just really cool in concept that there's just so many games. I played I think it's called Pina Golf or whatever, the one where you like aim the golf ball and you got to go through like an obstacle course in 2D. That's fun. Bounce the ball off stuff. So
God, that sounds cool.
I hope I can get back and update you guys on more UFO 50 stuff because that's another game I really want to play more of. So that's basically all that I've been up to.
I kind of Fangamer has like a strategy guide coming out for UFO 50, and I'm
Like
sort of tempted to
a physical guide.
a
Oh,
physical guide with like key art for each game and like basically like release data for each game, like as if they
yeah,
like came out
yeah.
in the real world.
Because that's what the game's
And,
concept is. It's like a
yeah. And like I'm very tempted to purchase that alongside the game just because like of how like cool that is.
yeah,
Like the thing about UFO 50 that gets me excited, and I'm wasting all of my time because I'm just gonna say like 3 sentences on this game I haven't even played yet, is like I loved Retro Game Challenge.
yes,
And this is the concept of that is like having multiple games and like having to do challenges in them and then like having like a full game to play is like I love that as a concept for a video game.
yeah,
A like a collection of video games that makes up a like actual video game to play through. And like has its own like history and stuff. Neat idea. So like I'm very excited for when I get a chance to play UFO 50 for sure. So I'm also
nice.
very excited to hear your thoughts.
You've been playing a lot of
Been
Donkey Kong Bonanza, huh?
I have beaten Donkey Kong Bonanza's main story as of
Hell yeah.
literally hours ago, prior to this recording. So it took me 4 weeks, just under 4 weeks to beat the game, and I've loved it. It is definitely going to be within my top 10, top 5 games that I've played this year, just because
Nice.
like they this this is the killer app for the
For the
Switch
Switch too.
2 is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, no offense to Mario Kart World, it's a perfectly good game, but like Donkey Kong Bonanza
I mean, that's what I've heard. Like, there's a
is
lot of people that just like it's like this is the game that should have launched with the Switch 2, and like it would have been insane.
yeah. I did everything, just about everything you can do, uh, without doing post game. So I got 680 Bananium gems out of the 777 that are available, including post game. I got all of the fossils, which is 696 fossils, and I got over half the discs, which is like at certain rest spots, you have like a jukebox so you can listen to all the in-game music. To get those, you have to beat up enemies, and it's a random drop.
Hmm.
So like there's 110 tracks, and I got over 55 of them. Like how you obtain them, like I did pretty well without like trying to grind or having the costume. There's a Pauline costume that lets you like have an additional like chance of having them drop. Without having any of that, like I feel like I did pretty well
How many
getting
hours
them.
have you spent in the game so far?
I think I spent around 40-ish
That's a
to do
lot.
all that. It's a lot, but also like the
In
game
a
is
good
very
way.
like quick
Yeah.
paced. Like it's very quick to like get. Oh, Jack's gonna check for us. Um, it like going between like things, like there's not a whole lot of lag time. Like
You were right
what's
on the
the
money.
verdict?
40, 40
40-ish.
hours or more.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was like, it's like definitely a little less than 45, but like within that 40 mark. But like it's just like the Medanium gems and fossils are like usually like close enough together that like you can like bounce between them. There's also a treasure map system where you can either purchase or find treasure maps for those collectibles. So like if you just want to know where it's at and like you just can then you can just find it on like the 3D map and like ping it and just go there. So it makes like collecting it less of a burden for someone who wants to go through the 100% process. So my biggest complaint is probably the fact that the sorry, the invincibility frames, like sometimes you can just like constantly take damage like after like multiple hits, and that really comes into play with the final boss. Like I died on the last phase of the final boss because of that.
I will say the only complaint I had from when I played a demo at work is like the camera is a little iffy in points.
Oh yeah, the camera's
It's
definitely a little iffy. You kind of get used to it, but
yeah,
like it does not know what to do in like small corridors.
right.
Uh like short corridors. If you're like in a tunnel, it will like go out and you can kind of see around yourself around the area. But like if you like destroy like at like Donkey Kong's level a lot of stuff, like the camera kind of just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So the camera and the invincibility frames are like probably my two things. But the
But
game just is a ton of fun to play.
I will say that like if it wasn't like a kid at the demo kiosk playing like whatever the kid felt like playing, a lot of the time I've seen somebody at work going over and playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like anybody who's like adult-ish or like at least close to an adult that I could tell, they were all like checking out Donkey Kong Bonanza. So it seems like it's really popular and getting a lot of
I
attention.
100% recommend playing it when you get a chance. Like
It's one of the big games I want to play this year.
it is the 3D platformer. It's the
Yeah.
3D platformer.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So that's everything that we've got for this podcast episode. Thank you all for tuning in. But like we said, we have a part 2 for this next time. So we'll roll the outro. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.